Hey, good day, good day, good day. It's Ronco Johnson, your lifestyle focused wealth coach. How's everyone doing today? Man, thank you and thank you for coming back to join us. This is Lifestyle Focused Wealth. It is Lifestyle Focused Friday. And guess what? Today, I got a question for you. What if the greatest threat to your family's fortune isn't your money, but it's the conversations you're not having? So I just want to have this question and I want to answer this in this episode because it's something that I really think we need to be talking about. I think for the holiday season, the gift that keeps on giving is this conversation. I want you to understand something. Today, I'm going to show you how the families build wealth and then they plan to outlive it and why most people never do. We're going to have a conversation today. Yes, indeed. Hey, this is Lifestyle Focused Wealth. I'm your Lifestyle Focused Wealth coach. And guess what? All this information is going to be packed on the inside. So sit back, relax, and unwind and join us for about 45 more minutes of intriguing conversation that I'm guaranteed that you're going to get something from. Some nuggets that you need to carry forward into 2026 and beyond. So if it's important to you, building your legacy, building your lifestyle, and changing those bad habits and leaving them in 2025 and beyond, then you want to stick around, you want to join us right here on Lifestyle Focused Wealth. Come on in. I'll see you on the inside. Hey, good day, good day, good day. It's Ronco Johnson. Thank you for joining us. Let me ask you a question. If you were to be talking about your lifestyle today, we're going to be giving you the blueprint for wealth that people don't get talked about. People don't talk about it very often. We're going to talk about it right here, and we're going to jump right into it because every family has a moment where the future is decided based on what you do. It's not by chance. It's not by luck. It's by your leadership. And sometimes the universe has just appointed you to be that leader. See, I remember when I was young, we watched families that had less money, but they were able to build more wealth, right? They were able to build more wealth, and simply because they had the structure and they had the conversations. They had the plan. And I realized something. See, wealth isn't just built by income alone. That's not what it's all about. But it is built by intention. So today, we're going to have that conversation. We're going to have that conversation because I'm giving you the same blueprint that the wealthiest families in America use. And the one that they don't teach you in school. And the one that most advisors never talk about. Are you intrigued? Are you intrigued? Well, that's what our episode is going to be about today. And I want to say thank you for joining us on Lifestyle Focused Wealth. And before we get started, go ahead and do me a favor. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead and hit the comments. Go ahead and hit the share button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button right below. That is your ticket to admission to this conversation because we're going to be talking about generational wealth and the governance for family wealth and why that's important. And we want you to take all the notes that you definitely need to do because we want you to get ahead. And thanks to my LFX team over there, I can't get my words out. Thank you for my team of LFX for helping us put this episode together just for you on some of the hottest topics on social media, on the internet right now, as it pertains to money, lifestyle, and management. This is the episode. So we're going to break down and talk to you about what family governance is about. We're going to be talking about values of documentation, why you need to do it, decision-making frameworks that will change the whole landscape of how you, your children, and your children's children view money. We're going to talk about the roles and responsibilities that's given out. In other words, we're not just giving out a role because you're a family. We're giving out roles and responsibilities to people and entities that can carry them out. And then we're going to start talking about the legacy statements. Legacy statements that mean you got to follow the direction. And how does it carry out the right way? How do you do it the right way? How does your family set up the right way? Now more than ever, more and more families need this help. We need this help. And guess what? Money without governance becomes chaos. And if you have a family that has chaos, you understand what I'm saying. You understand exactly what I'm saying because you're experiencing it, right? But governance without money becomes potential. How many people can say their family had the potential to do better? But when you combine the two, governance and potential, you create a dynasty. And that's what we're here to talk about today. How are you going to create a dynasty for your family? And you know what? That means so much to me. It means so much to me and my family that I want to share it with you. And over 28 years as an expert in the insurance business, one of the top less than 1% in the world of what we do, recognized by the $1 Million Roundtable, and thus far. These are some estate planning, trust, and tax optimization tricks that you need in your plan. And we're going to give it to you in just a few minutes. We're just going to give it to you. Because we don't want you to ever say that you haven't heard it. You need to know where you got it from. And here at Lifestyle Focus Wealth, we're all about enhancing your lifestyle and putting you in a room where other people are doing exactly what millionaires and billionaires have been doing. So that when you start talking about smart money habits and you start talking about tips and elevation, you're no longer going to be the weird one in the room. You're going to be amongst your peers. And that peer group that you have is going to be the most efficient. Why? Because they're bringing you up. The things that are cool yesterday, they're no longer cool. Today's sexy is getting your stuff together. And just for radio and TV and internet, I use the word stuff. So get your stuff together because we're going to get ready to optimize. We want to talk about estate planning. We want to talk about your trust. We want to talk about your tax planning. It's not too late to get started, and it's not too early for you to get started if you're younger. That time is right now. And I'm creating the urgency because it's the holiday season. It's the time of season that we have been programmed to spend most of our money. And when you spend most of your money, that means that the money's not working for you. And that's where the buck has to stop. It needs to stop. Money without governance becomes chaos. We don't want to start the year with chaos. Governance without money becomes potential. So if we start governing ourselves right now, when it's time to really spend all of our money, and we start having the attitude of, hey, wait a minute, that may not make all the best sense in the world to do. And we start combining the two, like I said earlier, we're creating our dynasty. So hey, I want to say thank you, first of all, for you joining us and being a part of our Lifestyle Focus Wealth community. I know that a lot of people are watching, and I know that people are drifting through, but I want to invite you to become a member of our Lifestyle Focus Wealth community right now, because we need you. Everything we need is in the room. And we've been talking about that for a long time now. We've been talking about it for a long time, right? So we want to help you. We want to help you get to where you want to go and surround you with people that feel as passionate about their future as you do. And it's something when you get all these kind of people in one room, It's amazing what happens, right? It's amazing what happens when everybody is rowing in the same direction. So let's talk about it just for a quick second. Can you imagine? Now let's talk about, say, the engine behind every legacy. Structure. Structure. I want to make sure that we understand that trusts are not for just the wealthy. And I know that there's people out here that will go talk to an attorney or maybe even an accountant or CPA, and they'll tell you, well, you don't have enough money. You don't have enough money because you don't need a trust because you don't have enough money. Hogwash. Because having a trust is not about being only wealthy. It's not just for the wealthy people. See, trusts are how people become wealthy. And in this day and age, with all the overlays and all the misdirection out there, you would do yourself an incredible benefit in getting a trust created. If you didn't ask for anything for Christmas, you want to ask for that trust right now, because it's important. It allows you to move in a certain way that keeps your information more private. And there's two types of trust that we're going to talk about: the revocable versus irrevocable. Well, revocable just simply means, and depending on where you're from, I'm from the South, so revocable, I can't even say it the other way that they say it, but revocable, okay? Revocable trust is very simple. That allows you to make changes. Irrevocable means you can't. One of them means you totally give the information away, meaning everything in the trust is no longer owned by you as an individual. That is the safest, that is the most guarded protection. The other, still guarded, just not at the same level as irrevocable. It allows you to rename it and move around and have ownership and control all your assets, but not in your name. We're going to be talking about asset protection. We're going to be talking about tax efficient ways to transfer your wealth, multi-generational ways of planning, family banking systems that we've been talking about for over a year now, because most people don't have the conversation. So most families lose wealth not because they didn't earn enough money, because we're earning money, especially Black and brown communities right now. We're earning money. And those people who are wealthy understand that you're also spending it. You're the ones spending it. A very large percentage, the majority of the consumption in America is based off your consumption. So if we start having the conversation, maybe we can reverse that cycle. Because those people, if I can put it bluntly, they didn't protect what they earned. And that's what we need you to start thinking about. How do we protect what you've earned? Yes, I'm not saying that you got to go without. Understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you don't need to be fashionable. I'm not saying that you can't have your rings, your nice cars, your nice suits. And I'm not saying that you can't go on your vacations. I'm saying if we start protecting what you earned, you can do all those things and more all the time. If you don't believe me, you need to check out our Lifestyle Focused Wealth community. You need to check out our Lifestyle Focused Wealth community. And when you start sitting down with millionaires and billionaires and you start to interview them, they don't spend a lot of time on the things that don't matter. And their money, without excuses, goes into instruments because they've earned the money and they're not going to spend it. But to the regular public, we see them spending money, and we see them with the flashy cars. We see them being able to go into a mall and walk out with a bag of something that they want. We see them going to fine dinners and taking fine trips. But what you didn't see is the misdirection. Is that the money that they earned is still working for them. And the money that they earned them the right to be able to do the things that you are witnessing in real time. But they're not spending their capital. They learn to leverage their capital. And that's what we're going to talk to you about today. That's what we're talking about today. How you're leveraging your capital. See, the first investment strategy for passive and portfolio wealth is your structure in place? That's what we need to be talking about. That's the first step. You know, I was having a conversation with a good friend just yesterday. Someone I value, someone that's an educator, well educated, and they asked a good question, but it was in a private setting. It was like, how do we go and have these conversations? And she said to me, Ronco, we're not having those conversations. Our families are not having those conversations. Our peer groups are not having these conversations. So where do we go, and who's out there talking about this stuff? That shocked me. I felt some kind of way because I was sitting right there in front of her. And I said to myself, I have been given this information for nearly 3 decades. But the thing is, I realize maybe we're not having a conversation because we refuse to do the thing that's necessary. We heard about it, but it's not sexy. It's not sexy. You can't show it off. We're too quick to get to the bag, but the bag has a hole in the bottom of it. And every story seems to end up the same. Well, guess what we don't want to do? We're not going to tell you that getting to the bag is a quick story. But if your bag doesn't have a hole in it, you're going to need a bigger bag. That's the difference. That's the difference. So once your structure is in place, this next step is the fuel. And we want to talk about how the fuel works. Let me explain. Go ahead and grab your pen and your paper. Because when I describe fuel, I'm talking about real estate. I'm talking about private lending. I'm talking about business ownership. I'm talking about dividend participating whole life. I'm talking about non-qualified annuities. These assets that you own. They're not government owned, but that you own. These are not investments. So I want to make sure that you hear the language. These are not investments. They're wealth engines. That's what they are. Let me tell you a quick story about how that works. You know, there's some talking heads on television, and they're very popular and well marketed. And they'll tell you that some of these products that I've just mentioned are terrible investments. And I just laugh at the screen. Why? Because they know damn well that these are not investments. They're not even legally called investments, and they're paid with after-tax dollars. Now, real estate is an investment because you have to pay capital gains tax when it grows. Lending, you're lending your money to whoever you want to if it's private. And the interest that you earned is passive income. Business ownership is a thing that you start and then you grow it. And then you expense off all your assets, all the business expenses that the business has to run its business to be profitable. We've talked about dividend participating whole life, where one professional out there just said, oh, that's just a return on your money from the insurance company's overage. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. The fact is that they're returning the money to you. If you can save on a credit card and you are willing to spend on a credit card just so you can get a reward point to take a trip on an airplane to your favorite destination, doesn't it make sense to get a reward every time you pay a premium? Every time you get paid every time you get your whole entire check and put it into your banking system, shouldn't you get a reward for that too? And that reward that keeps on giving, that is a dividend participating whole life plan. That's guaranteed. And then we talk about these non-qualified annuities out there. Someone said, I heard annuities were bad. Well, annuities are not for short term, they're for long term, depending on what kind of annuity that you got. And I'm saying non-qualified, which means after tax. But you probably have heard about a Roth IRA that limits how much money you can put into it, where non-qualified annuities, they have no limits. See, I'm going to tell you a little quick story, and I just want to make sure that we're all playing this game by the same cycle. And if I'm making sense to you really early, go ahead. Give me a thumbs up in the chat, please. Go ahead. Say hello. Go ahead. Put it in the chat. If it makes sense, I want to make sure that we're on the same page. But let me tell you this little story before I recognize our folks in the chat. See, once I worked with a family who thought they needed millions of dollars to get started, and they didn't. They needed more of a strategy, more than money. Within 5 years, their passive income exceeded their active income. And guess what? Because they stopped chasing returns and they started building systems that gave them returns, they were super successful. They were able to learn how the leverage of what they had stocked up and didn't spend. They understood now that the bag that they were chasing, it wasn't how much money they were making. It was the fact that their bag had a hole in the bottom of it. And when they decided to sew the hole up, change direction, and start doing it another way, and the family started having discussions, the kids started having discussions, the grandkids started having discussions, they started to build businesses and started to work together. The cash flow started to become different. See, personal finance mastery is important. This is our fourth section today, and we're already on money management skills, because if you can become a master at your personal finance and your money management, let's be clear. I've said it many of times. You cannot build generational wealth with chaotic personal finances. If your credit score is in the 400s, that's chaotic. Let's be real about it. Let's take accountability and start owning it. Don't hide it. Don't act as if it doesn't exist. It does. It's not a knock on who you are, but it is an opportunity for you to elevate. And that's what we're talking about. Okay? So how do we get out of this chaotic personal finance dump that we're in? If that's you, here's the overlay. We need to start having conversations about cash flow. We need to start talking about debt elimination. Good debt, bad debt. What does that mean? Automate your savings and have these behavioral disciplines that make us change direction. You know, just yesterday, I was having a conversation with a young lady in her early 20s, and she was telling me about the money that she had saved, that she didn't want to use one of these products, these non-qualified annuities, because she wanted her money to stay liquid so that potentially she could buy a house. And I understood that. But when we looked at how much money was being spent, we realized that she had spent $11,000 over a 6-month time of a designated amount of money that was earmarked for this specific purpose. But she couldn't identify that she was making $5,000 to $7,000 a month. So if I live at home, if I'm saving the money and I got 40 grand sitting there and I make $7,000 a month and I'm saving, I should at least have 7,000, 7,000, 7,000, 7,000 minus some minor expenses. on top of my 40. But instead, she was $11,000 the other way with no additional savings. And it was really difficult for her to see that because money is emotional. But wealth is not mathematical. And when you master both of those, you become unstoppable. When you can automate your system so that your savings can automatically do the things that you're emotionally not capable of doing, your behavior starts to change. It becomes discipline. Now you're putting your money to work for you because you were smart enough to put it on automatic bill pays and drafts. If you're not going to do it, let's automate the service. That's what all these technology tools are out here for. And I'm not even bringing into the fact that AI can do things for you too. But if you want to be unstoppable moving forward, you're going to have to eliminate the bad debt and understand how the wealthy leverages debt. There's a difference. Debt elimination means that, hey, my consumer buys that's causing me debt is different than my seed capital debt that's increasing my value. Those two are different things. Wealthy people see it as seed capital, and they're going to use their debt to reposition it so that money will make them more money. But if you're on the consumer side of it, meaning you went out and you shopped for TVs and bicycles and all those things that sit in your closet that you never wear or never use, and it's not creating value, there's a problem. There's the topic. We want to eliminate buying those things with our hard-earned money. If you can master taking the money that we earn, holding that money, positioning those dollars that you've worked hard for into financial vehicles that will work for you, meaning they're earning you interest on a daily. And it doesn't matter if we're talking insurance, if we're talking annuities, if we're talking stocks, bonds, mutual funds, if we're talking real estate. Don't go buy the most expensive real estate if it's your first house. Buy something smaller so you can buy it smaller, maybe renovate it, or take a couple years and let it grow. Why? Because it's cheaper. You buy cheaper and you sell higher, or you leverage higher. Am I making sense to you? Am I making sense to you today? Hi, my lifestyle focused wealth community. How are we doing today? Because I think we have to have these conversations, man. I really do. Hey, Sam, I see you out there. Hey, Donna, I see you out there. Takeaways. Hey, this is making no sense, right? It makes no sense when we start thinking about how reckless we can be sometimes when it comes down to talking about our finances. And when we really just sit back and just think about it, you'll watch friends of yours go to the bar. It's bowl season. Tomorrow, I just watched my alma mater playing a game today. Well, tomorrow, you got other bowl games on television. And you're going to see people in the bar spending $100 sitting there eating. And they'll spend it on drinks. And they'll spend it on cigars. And they'll spend it on all those things. But ask the question, are they spending their hard-earned capital, or are they leveraging the capital to buy that cigar, to have that meal, to have that trip? These are the questions that we need to really start having. And I'm hopeful that I'm making it make sense for somebody out here, because we have to have the conversation. Because like I said at the very beginning of the show, somebody has to be the leader. We can't keep leading ourselves into destruction. We can't keep leading our families on a pathway where they will look at us and say, well, nobody taught us better habits. Well, that's not true. In today's world, information is everywhere. As I tell my team, what is it that you know that you act like you don't know? Because AI will tell you, it's right there in front of you. If you know how to prompt it, you can just ask it the question. It'll tell you what to do with the money. It'll tell you what the most wealthy people in the world do with their money. It'll tell you. You can go a step further than that. You can put in there, how can I earn $1 million in the next 12 months? It will tell you. Go ahead and put in your chat and put in your AI, whatever you use. It doesn't matter if it's Chat GPT. It doesn't matter if it's Gemini. It doesn't matter if it's Copilot. Put in there, how can I start effectively using cash flow, eliminate debt, automate my savings, and have basic behavioral disciplines when it comes to money? Just put it in there. The wonderful thing about AI, it is not emotional. Just like money. Money is emotional for you, but the actual money itself, it ain't emotional. It's not. That's why I say wealth is mathematical. It's just adding that up. The more times you do it right, the bigger it gets. The bigger it gets. The bigger it gets. If I'm resonating with you out there today, please put something in the comments today. Go ahead, put it in the comments. Let me know that I'm not just talking to myself. Because really what we're talking about today is purpose-driven wealth with a legacy mindset and why these things are important. Because if you have a purpose, your purpose for your wealth, and when I say wealth, I'm not just talking about money. That's not wealth. Wealth is, to me, those moments that you cherish, those experiences that you have, the time with family, friends, and people that you really enjoy, maximizing those feel-good moments. That's what it is. But your legacy mindset means that you start to put things in make things a priority that probably weren't thought about in your past life. See, the energy in the room has to be the right type of energy. Because if you put 11 people in a room that are broke, I will tell you, you will be the 12th person that's broke. I mean that without any shadow of a doubt. So why not be in a room where you have 11 successful people? Because if there's 11 successful people, legacy-minded people, then guess what? You're going to be the 12th one. And that means that you can become unstoppable moving forward. I want to make sure we slow the pace here and give you time to catch up. Because if we give you time to catch up, maybe you can take a moment to start thinking about what it looks like to dream. Because I'm about to share with you what I feel most podcasts skip. See, legacy is emotional before it's financial. And that is so true to really what we're talking about. Because your children don't inherit money first. They inherit your mindset. If the teacher that's in your class teaching your kids don't have the mindset, then you can't look at an educator the same way either, because it's not in them. It's not in them. For us former athletes out there, some people say that dog is just not in you. If you don't have that aggressive mentality to go out there and hunt, it's just not in you. You might starve. Well, money's the same way. This is why I built the lifestyle focused plan and methodology. This is why LFX Media exists. This is why I do this work, is because I want to change the mindset and elevate the mindset of not just myself and my family, but everyone who comes into contact with me. And I mean everyone. So when that young lady said to me the other day, well, who are we coming to for this information? And I said, me. Quickly, I was disregarded as if you can't talk to everybody. No, it doesn't start with everybody, but you learn manners, not because you taught to everybody. It's because you were taught by your family. You learned discipline. Why? Because you had to be on class on time, or you got a demerit. When you learn how to treat people better, you stop treating people with disrespect. Why? Because you want to be treated with respect as well. See, these things are also items that we inherit. These are mindsets. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, thank you. Mindset. But there's also a negative mindset that I hope all of us can wash away. You know, bigotry, racism, how we see one another. When we think that we're really different just because our skin tones are different, and we're not. We're all human. Living this human experience. We're emotional beings living a human experience. If I'm talking to you right now, because I want to make sure that we do better. Because wealth without purpose, it's just numbers. You get $100, you don't have any purpose for it. It's just a number. It's just 100. You could throw it up in the club next Friday. Just give it away. But wealth with a purpose, that becomes a different story. That becomes a story. That's a storyline. That's a storyline that the most significant people in the world, they're writing stories every day. Whether that story is based off of the businesses that they're opening, about the foundations that they're supporting, about the food that they're feeding hungry with, about the shelter that they're giving to people who have less, about the education that they're grooming people to learn about. See, this is my call to legacy today. If you're with me, give me a thumbs up in the chat, please. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We need you. We need you. The call to legacy, it starts right now. It starts right now. And when I come back, I want to explain to you what I mean by the call to legacy. Because this is a closing statement that I don't think you want to miss. Because we're calling on our lifestyle focused wealth community, our lifestyle focused wealth architects, and our families and our friends. We're calling you out. This is the call to legacy when we return. See you in a moment. Well, it looks like they want me to see you now. Well, if that's the case, we'll see you now. We'll see you now. We'll talk about it. The call to legacy is simply this. Your family deserves more than hope. They deserve a blueprint. They deserve your leadership. They deserve a legacy built on purpose. Are you understanding where we're going with this? In 2026, you have to be the leader of your family, your business. You have to be the creator of your legacy. You're writing it whether you know it or not. And if you're ready to build wealth that outlives you, then you're in the right place. You're in the right place. Are you ready? Hey, it's very simple. Either you're ready or you're not. Either you're ready or you're not. Do me a favor before we wrap up today. If you're ready, put in the comments, I'm ready. Hashtag I'm ready. If you are ready, share this information with somebody else that you care about. Someone else that you can say, honestly, I love you enough that I'm going to get ready. I'm going to get ready to create a situation that only people are going to want to mimic and be a part of in a positive way. Because wealth isn't built by income, it's built by intention. Trusts aren't just for the wealthy, trusts are for how people become wealthy. See, your children inherit the mindset before they inherit your money. We want to make sure that your generational wealth is not money, it's a system. And we got to have that system now. Right now. Start changing the scope of your lifestyle. Start changing the direction of your family. And guess what? We don't have to beg people for help. We just need to make the change. You just got to make the decision. And all that will start to change. In the next 3 to 6 months, maybe even a year, you will notice that your bag is getting bigger. You're getting more and more respect. And no one's telling you about it. And guess what? You'll be able to make those decisions that you want for your lifestyle based on your intentions, based on you making the decision that every dollar earned deserves a reward behind it. So don't be like most families. Most families don't fail because they lack money. Don't buy into that. They fail because they lack structure. And this year is the year that you need to get your structure right. And then everything else will fall in line and start to make sense. Because today's episode was all about the reveal of the blueprint that the wealthiest families use to build wealth. And then that wealth that they built is designed to help them outlive their money. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? Just got something to ask yourself. Are you ready? Because we're redefining generational wealth here. Our lifestyle focused wealth community, we are absolutely redefining generational wealth. And we're going to talk about these stories. We're going to tell it till the days come home. And you, as a legacy architect, being a member of our lifestyle focused wealth community, you bring a new era of financial leadership for families worldwide. And it's because of social media. It's because of having these ways to get out here and put the tentacles out there and tell people, look, stop hoping, start becoming right now. Because we're going to launch this purpose-driven wealth series designed to help you transform how families think about money. That's only if you want. It's only if you want it. Are you ready? Hey, I'm Ronco Johnson. This has been Lifestyle Focused Wealth. Today, I've been asking the question, are you ready? Why? Because you need the blueprint. No longer can you say I didn't give it to you. And do me a favor. We're saying this blueprint online so we can give it to someone else. Do me a favor. Save it to your social media, to your TikTok, to your Facebook, to your LinkedIn, to your YouTube, to whatever you're using. Send it out. Clip it. Make it go viral. But at least you're giving a gift that keeps on giving, because this was the blueprint. It's the blueprint of what the wealthiest people in America have been doing, right under your nose. And if we can start thinking about it that way and start taking advantage of it right now, you will have saved the lives of many, and you will be building a life of significance. And that's something to be proud of. Hey, that's my time. I'm Ronco Johnson, your lifestyle focused wealth coach.